series called Answering Self-Discovery Questions. These questions dive into the self, what it means to be who we are, what do we like, what do we dislike, what aspects of ourselves have we neglected that need to come out again. I am splitting these questions into quarters, so four videos. For this third video, the third of the fourth, we are answering a category of questions called What do I need to heal? What do I need to heal? I think this might be the deepest category out of all of the categories, and I can see that there's a little drawing of a moon, a little drawing of a crescent moon next to this category, possibly because the moon is often associated with the shadow self, the part of our identities which are the hardest to address, but arguably the most important to address. As always, feel free to write your own answers to these questions, maybe in a notebook if you have one near you, or you can just think about how you might answer these questions in your mind, or you don't have to think at all. You can just relax and watch the video if you want, because as I like to always say, there are no rules here. There are no rules, no obligations, just the chance to slow down, be calm, and reflect. Okay. I am again using my Spirited Away journal. Spirited Away journal. I don't think I've shown you the drawing on the back yet. It's very cute. And what I'm going to do is write down the first question. The exciting thing is that there are random drawings dotted within this journal, and we have actually reached one of the pages with a drawing on it. These are the drawings that were used during the pre-production stages of the making of the film Spirited Away. Can you see the drawing? Can you see the drawing? Very interesting. I like. like the way this paper feels. question as well, as I try to think of an answer to. The first question is, what am I holding onto that no longer serves me? What am I holding onto that no longer serves me? Quite a deep one. Pessimistic outlook doesn't change anything. Doesn't help the need to have the answers to be happy. Memories of fainting, obsessive worries about things that never happen. The belief that my body is weak. The need for approval. Not pursuing things because I question if they're right. Sorry, I know I've been writing for a while. I will discuss the answers that I've written for this question with you guys to give you some inspiration for how one might answer these. But this question is making me think more than I thought it would. I've not actually pre-read these questions before filming this video, so I'm recording my real, authentic response to seeing these questions. This things from childhood, things that other people might have said to me. Things that I've said to myself about myself. It's starting to rain or hail. I don't know if you can hear that. I'm really trusting this microphone to pick up my voice. This is going to be a good test for how it navigates background noise. Maybe I can use this sudden hailstorm time to think a little bit more about maybe if there's anything from childhood that I need to let go of. Yeah, the weather has not been great in the UK. Oh my gosh, I'm really hoping that you can hear me. I feel like the sound of the rain or the hail could either be super relaxing or taking over the sound of my voice, but I'm hoping that it's more on the relaxing side of things. Okay, just so this video isn't too long, I will tell you my response to this, but I think this is a question that I might need to spend a little bit more time answering as the days go by. For now, I put, okay, so what am I holding on to that no longer serves me? I put a pessimistic outlook because it doesn't change anything and it doesn't help. I need to let go of the need to have all the answers to be happy. There have been times in my life where I think I struggled with pessimism a little bit. Just having negative thoughts in my mind and, you know, for example, every time I started a new hobby, I would very quickly end my enjoyment of that hobby simply by thinking negatively about it, or reasons why I might not be good at that hobby, reasons why it might not work out, reasons why it might be a waste of time to pursue that hobby. Yeah, and I think just in general feeling overwhelmed about the negativity in the world. I think this is something that a lot of people can relate to because it feels like negativity is constantly being forced down our throats. When you look at the newspaper headlines on the newspapers that are sold in shops or your local supermarket, it's always really dramatic, negative titles because negativity sells. People will buy those magazines. The dramaticness of it grabs people's attention. It's the same on social media. A lot of social media is about talking about negative things, judging other people's lifestyle choices, cancelling people, and deep diving into just I guess, people's weaknesses rather than their strengths. You know, when you turn the radio on and you hear the news segment, it's always about all the negative news that's going on and hardly ever the positive news. All news is important to research and stay educated on, but sometimes I wish the radio gave an equal length of time to talking about all the good news that's happening around the world, like species no longer being extinct or breakthroughs in scientific research. I know that these news stories are out there from personal experience because I gave myself the task of reading a live positive news segment on a radio station. This was for like a little voluntary project that I did as part of a radio production course, and that journalism exercise taught me just how much good news is happening around the world, but how little we hear about it. So I think it's quite easy for humans to gradually over time develop a pessimistic outlook on life and to view life as though it's meant to be hard, and that's how it must always be. And I feel like the notion that life has to be hard has genuinely affected my opinion, a biased opinion on what life is supposed to feel like. Only recently I've been trying to dissect that opinion that life has to be hard and that it has to be miserable and that it has to be difficult. I'm like, where have I learnt that from? Who taught me that? I'm actually just going to write a quick little note about that. The notion that life has to be hard. I think another thing that I've been realising recently is that no matter how negatively you talk about life, or no matter how much you focus on negative or tiring things, it doesn't change anything. For example, if I were to catch an illness, maybe I caught the flu and I'm feeling really ill because of it, and I'm like, oh, life is difficult, why do people get ill? Why is this even a thing? I hate feeling ill, and then focusing on the symptoms and how uncomfortable I feel, but speaking about things in that way, worrying about things, and constantly talking about the reasons why you don't like something won't make that flu go away. Worrying and being negative does not change anything. I'd say, if anything, looking at things positively and in a light-hearted way actually has the ability to change a situation because of brain chemistry and the things that change the chemicals that get released in your brain when you are feeling happiness. Yeah, I also put the need to have all the answers to be happy. As a deep thinker, I think I spent most of my youth trying to figure out what the meaning to life was and why we're here, and I think that I attached my search for answers on that topic with my happiness. My happiness depended on how much I knew about the universe, but obviously that is a slippy slope because there's so much that we just can't know. But recently I've been realizing that I can actually find happiness in life, not having all the answers and just enjoying life for what it is whilst I'm still here. I've also put that I need to let go of old embarrassing memories or negative memories that happened when I was in primary school. I was playing on the playground and I accidentally fell over. I hurt my knee quite bad, and I think because of the injury that I sustained, and maybe because I was panicking because I'd never been in that situation before because I was only a little child, I remember fainting in front of the whole class, and when I was unconscious I could hear everyone around me saying, "Oh my gosh, what's happened? What's happened to Jaden?" And I guess that was my first experience of fainting. I will say though, I don't want to scare anyone. This has happened to me since, but it has been a much more comfortable experience. For some reason I gained consciousness during my first experience of fainting, but every single time it's happened since then it's always just felt like I've fallen asleep and then I immediately wake up. But yeah, I think that memory always stuck with me, and it then made me obsess over whether it would happen again. I spent the majority of high school having anxiety attacks because I would convince myself that I would randomly faint in class and that it would happen in front of all these people and that it would be embarrassing, just like that memory from when I was in primary school. But it literally has not happened again, only in a very, very specific circumstance when I was really ill. But I think I can count on one hand the amount of times that I fainted, and to think that I spent so much of my teenagehood not enjoying life because all I could think about was this obsessive fear of this memory from childhood happening again. Yeah, so I would say that that is a memory that I need to let go of, because my worries are not logical when it comes to wondering if this scary thing will happen again, because every single time I worry about it, it hardly ever happens. Yet I still keep worrying about it even though I've already solved and given myself the evidence that it won't happen again. Yeah, the belief that my body is weak. I feel like I've proven over the past couple weeks that my body is a lot stronger than I think it is. I put the need for approval, but I put a question mark next to it because it feels like I need to go into that in a bit more detail about what I mean by that, but I'm not really sure what I mean by that. I just felt like I needed to write it down because actually I probably can quickly explain this. During a therapy session that I had last week, my therapist said something like, I want you to think about what do you do that is just for yourself and not for other people. And I found it really difficult to answer that question because I think a lot of my happiness and my sense of safety and security comes from knowing that the people around me are happy or that I'm making them comfortable. I feel like that worry about whether I'm achieving that kind of consumes me, and I don't know if I really do things that are just for myself and my approval only. So I think that's what I meant by that. I also put not pursuing things because I over-question if they're right, but you have to try to know. I guess like setting up this ASMR channel, before I posted my first video, I was probably questioning a lot about, do I want to put my face out there? Do I know for sure that this is something I will always enjoy? Is this something that I will always feel connected to? Is this right for me? Is this the right thing for me to be doing in my spare time? Should I be doing something else? You know, I would basically just go over everything that could go wrong, or everything that I might possibly need to know before going ahead with something. But I've kind of realised that something is better than nothing, and I'm really trying to have that energy this year of just absolutely anything that interests me. I will try my best to pursue it and to not give up with it or get in my head, because sometimes your only way to know if something is right for you is to just try it. Sometimes we don't have all the answers, but you just have to try to know your answers, if that makes sense. So yeah, I've just put that I need to try things more and to not stop myself from doing things because of over questioning if it is really the right thing for me. Yeah, I've just put too much seriousness and thinking. Life can be enjoyable just through eating good food and watching TV. It doesn't need meaning. Again, I think just going back to the younger version of myself who felt like my happiness depended on how much I knew about the universe and trying to solve existential thoughts. You know, I've just put that life can still be enjoyable and fun and be filled with happiness, even if I don't have the answers to the big questions. I don't need the answers to enjoy this lifetime. So yeah, literally just making sure to eat tasty food and to watch the TV shows that make me happy, to laugh, to dance, I guess just to feel, really. I think I spend a lot of time in my head, and that is something that no longer serves me. I probably feel my most happiest and my most connected to life itself when I'm actually feeling it and experiencing it and eating, laughing, using my senses, instead of trying to figure out what it's all about. So yeah, I guess the need for meaning. And yeah, the last thing that I put was the belief that I'm dumb. I think I briefly spoke about this in another episode of this self-discovery series, but there were a few instances in previous jobs where, or actually at school as well, where the people around me misunderstood my character. When I was at school, I didn't know that I had ADHD or autism, so I was always a lot slower than everyone else when it came to learning things, and because I didn't know why that was, I think I maybe used to think that I was dumb, and then other people would treat me like I was dumb as well. My classmates certain teachers, I felt like I would get on teachers' nerves because they couldn't understand why I couldn't follow basic instructions. But all I needed was for someone to just repeat the instructions to me in a clear and understandable way and in a friendly way, and then I would have been fine. Being a slow learner doesn't make me dumb. I still have some braininess in me. It just takes me a bit longer to learn and to focus on things, but once I've got that focus, I'm going. I'm zooming ahead, you know. And it's like at work as well. I think maybe there were one or two times at work where I was doing a task slowly because I was doing it for the first time and just wanting to make sure that I was doing everything right, and the people around me were maybe not understanding why it was taking me so long to do something. Do you know what? That's not even about focus or ADHD, that's just about wanting to do things right. I think I take a lot of time with things because I want to make sure that I'm doing them right, so it's like, are you gonna tell me off for doing a task quickly but incorrectly, or are you gonna tell me off for taking my time to do a task but knowing that I've done it correctly? I can't get it right. I feel like that's another example of how negativity is forced down us. Like at work, you always get told about the things that you're not doing right and never about the things that you are doing right. Like what happened to getting gold stars when you were at school, or a teacher saying good job when you did something good. Just because we're adults doesn't mean that we don't still have that inner child that has the desire to be told that you're doing a good job. Oh my gosh, I think about this all the time. I actually do. We need to give adults gold stars. I don't think that should stop when you are not a kid anymore, because we're all kids inside. Anyways, oh my gosh, what am I even saying? Yeah, that really knocked my confidence actually. In one of the last jobs that I had, I felt that a lot. I felt like people would presume that I was just in cloud cuckoo land all the time, because sometimes I would drift off into space whilst I was doing things, and then people would think that I'm a daydreamer or that there's no thoughts going on behind my eyes. But in actual fact, I'm daydreaming off into space because I'm thinking about all of the tasks that need to get done that day, or I'm trying to solve the meaning of life and any existential thoughts that I might have started the day with. So it used to really irritate me when people would say things like, there's no thoughts behind your eyes, or you're like a deer in the headlights. I feel like I've been told that so much, and there's times where I wish that I could just tell someone, actually, there's a lot going on behind these eyes, and I'm not dumb. I just care about doing a good job, and just because I'm a slow learner does not make me dumb. I'm just thinking about all of the little details, do you know what I mean? Anyways, so yeah, but that did. When I felt that judgment from other people in a previous job, I think it really knocked my confidence. And when I would meet up with my friends, I think they could tell how much that experience had knocked my confidence before I even realised it had, you know. I would say things like, I'm nervous about my next job because I feel like people view me as dumb. And then, you know, the friends that I meet up with, we became friends because we used to work together. And they were like, I don't understand what you're talking about, because when we worked with you, you seemed like a really good person to work with. Like, you knew what you were doing, you were always very meticulous, you always did things right, you were good at multitasking. You know, they were basically just trying to hype me up, I guess, or just be like, we've worked with you before, we don't understand where your lack of confidence in your work ethic is coming from. And I don't know, it's like I could hear what they were saying, but I wasn't taking it in. Because I was like, oh, you're just saying that because you're my friends. But yeah, I've had a lot of time to think about that recently, and also I had an experience that made me believe in myself again. When I did a radio production course recently, the people around me said that they thought that I came up with really good ideas for the radio show that we were making, and someone said that I was very intelligent. And I mean, like, I don't want to talk about these things to sound big-headed, but like, someone telling me that they thought I was an intelligent person meant the absolute world to me, because I feel like that's not something that I've heard a lot from my peers. And just to feel seen, to have my thoughts and my ideas seen, it really meant the world. So I feel like I gained my confidence back again when I did that course, and now that my confidence is back, I realise how bad it was before, if that makes sense. So yeah, even though my confidence is back, I would still say that the belief that I'm dumb is still something that I might be holding on to, that I need to let go of, because it doesn't serve me. Like, it's not true. It's just unfortunate that some people's perception of me affected my own perception of myself. I feel like that's something as well. I need to let go of other people's judgments of me, and I need to have a stronger sense of who I am, in a way that it doesn't get touched or affected by other people's opinions of me. I feel like that kind of goes into the need for approval thing that I briefly mentioned earlier. Yeah, I guess I need to... What am I holding on to that no longer serves me? Other people's opinions. Other people's opinions of me being my worth. Period. What am I? Okay. Do you know what? I've just seen that I've been recording for 43 minutes. Oh my gosh. When I was writing down the answers for this question, I had a feeling that it would go on for quite a while. I mean, that is just such a deep question, isn't it? Things that I'm holding on to that I need to let go of, and because they don't serve me anymore. The more you think about it, the more things you can come up with. So, I hope you... Oh my gosh, I look like a werewolf. Or like Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, the way that my mullet is like shooting out. Anyways, what was I saying? Yeah. I think, do you know what? I think I'm actually gonna let this question be its own video. I feel like if I was to answer the next question now, it would just be like a complete energy change, and I feel like I've just briefly read the next question, and that also sounds like one I need to spend a lot of time answering, so I'm actually probably gonna make this series into more than 4 parts, because this one question is just gonna be one video, but I I guess in a way that's good, right? Because it means that this series can be slightly longer and that we can spend more time answering each question in order to get the most healing out of it. And the category for these questions are, what do I need to heal? Or is, what do I need to heal? So I guess that makes sense. So yeah, I hope you guys don't mind that we just answered one question in today's video, but hopefully answering one question in depth could be a good exercise at the same time. Yeah, I'm probably going to film another video right now, actually, which will be the next question to this category, so I will see you guys for that next video,